When it comes to ancient Egypt, you might think of the pyramids, the pharaohs, and the giant statues. However, in recent years, a very important part of ancient Egypt has disappeared like a treasure buried under the ocean. Until it was brought to light once again, the palace of Queen Cleopatra, the last queen of ancient Egypt, had been lost for over 5,000 years. Along the calm banks of the Nile River, an ancient civilization flourished and developed after death was believed to be a continuation of life. This belief was reflected in the enormous temples and placed on the shoulders of pharaohs, great people with a mission to lead and protect the people of Egypt. Each pharaoh left his own mark, such as Ramses II, who was not only a great architect, but also built an empire. Tutankhamun was a young king who was immortalized in gold. However, perhaps the most famous, mysterious, and alluring person is none other than Cleopatra. Her story began in Alexandria, located west of the Nile Delta, about 225 kilometers from Cairo today, and running along the Mediterranean Sea for about 32 kilometers. In 331 BC, Alexander the Great founded Alexandria to expand his empire and led his army to conquer Egypt. For 1,000 years thereafter, Alexandria became the capital of Egypt. After Alexander's death, his empire collapsed, and Egypt fell into the hands of Ptolemy and Soter, a Macedonian general from Greece. He became King Ptolemy I and opened up a dynasty that lasted nearly 3 centuries before ending with Queen Cleopatra VII. During Cleopatra's reign, Alexandria was the most developed city in the world, a center of culture and scholarship that attracted the most famous scholars and artists of the time. Alexandria was the gateway to trade between Europe and Asia. At one time, ships from India and Rome looked for the lighthouse of Alexandria, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. However, Cleopatra, who ruled Alexandria, was not Egyptian. Until now, her life and identity have been shrouded in mystery. Cleopatra spoke 9 languages and was extremely intelligent. She also possessed a wealth of knowledge ranging from astronomy, geography, to history. She was granted power and demonstrated her leadership skills early on by building a powerful army and a fleet of warships to confront the Roman Empire, helping Egypt become strong and maintain peace. In addition to her intelligence and beauty, Cleopatra was lucky enough to have a sweet voice. Legend has it that Caesar fell in love with Cleopatra as soon as he heard her voice and offered to give his entire country to the beautiful woman, capturing his heart completely. However, Cleopatra's glory was extinguished when Octavian, or Caesar Augustus, the first emperor of ancient Rome, sent troops to conquer Egypt. In 30 BC, her husband Marcus Antonius was defeated in the naval battle of Actium in the Mediterranean, after which he took his own life. Overwhelmed by grief, Cleopatra secretly brought a deadly snake into her chamber and let it bite her so she could follow her husband in death. The story of Cleopatra's death is considered a legend by later generations rather than historical fact because there is no credible evidence. Moreover, all the places where these events took place have been lost without a trace in this day and age. The ancient city of Alexandria still exists, but there is still a hidden world 10 meters deep in the murky waters of a small bay, covering an area of 2 square kilometers. For thousands of years, the palace of the last pharaoh of Egypt has been lying here, forgotten and unknown. It wasn't until the 1990s that French archaeologist Frank Gaudio discovered ancient works by Greek historian Strabo, which described the great city of Alexandria and an island near the coast called Entirodo, where Cleopatra's palace was located. Gaudio's team spent 10 years relying on this evidence and finally found clues. First, they found the remains of a 30-meter-long ancient cargo ship containing jewelry, hairpins, rings, and cups. Then they found the rest of it, along with an ancient dock with a series of huge columns, 7 meters high and 1.2 meters in diameter, made of red Egyptian granite and decorated with murals. There is no doubt that this was once a magnificent entrance. They found the wooden foundation of the palace through carbon dating analysis, which showed that it was about 200 years before Cleopatra was born, so Cleopatra inherited it instead of building it. Scientists also discovered a large number of artifacts, such as coins, ceramics, and marble statues. The most impressive are two large granite statues guarding the entrance to a sitting room in the palace complex. According to researchers, one statue represents Ptolemy XIII Autlitz, Cleopatra's father. In addition, there is also a very large statue of the god Isis and a very large stone head believed to be Caesarion, son of Cleopatra and Julius Caesar's lover. This discovery also raised hopes of finding the tomb of Cleopatra and Marcus Antonius. The small island covers an area of about 500 hectares, with 3 branches leading in different directions. The main branch is 300 meters long with a promenade, facing the site of the Caesarium temple on the mainland seafront, opposite the location where Caesarion sat. The question was raised, why did an island, along with Cleopatra's palace and even the legendary lighthouse of Alexandria, get swallowed up by the ocean? Let's go back to Frank Gaudio. In 1999, his team found an ancient Egyptian Atlantis. Unfortunately, not Atlantis, but still a story about a city submerged under the sea after an apocalypse. And coincidentally, that city is located east of Alexandria. The Egyptians called it Thonis, while the Greeks called it Heraklion. This port city had people living in it for hundreds of years before Alexander the Great founded Alexandria nearby. But what's most special is that it has been part of ancient legends. It is where the hero Hercules first set foot in Africa. It is where Helen of Sparta and Paris of Troy sought refuge. However, around 1,200 years ago, a strong earthquake caused a tsunami that destroyed the entire city. The earthquake shook the ground so hard that the seawater mixed with soil to form liquefied sand. This phenomenon is called liquefaction, so the entire city sank into liquefied sand. According to Gaudio and other archaeologists, some islands still float on the surface of the water. In the 6th century BC, a library was built on one of those islands. However, in the 8th century AD, another earthquake occurred, and this time, the entire city sank under the sea. In the depths of the ocean, the remains of Heraklion gradually emerged with a statement about its preservation status. Only in this sunken area did people discover 64 different types of ships and 700 anchors. Besides ships, people also found a lot of gold coins, precious stones, and many large statues of gods and stone slabs containing animal mummies used for worshiping gods. A similar story happened with Enterodo and Cleopatra's palace. Archaeologists speculate that after Cleopatra died a few centuries ago, a terrible earthquake followed by a tsunami hit the coast of Alexandria, sinking an island along with the palace and lighthouse. And now, long after the ocean has erased all traces, a chapter of Egypt's history is once again at risk of sinking. Alexandria is located near several active tectonic plates, which have caused many earthquakes throughout ancient and modern history. One of the effects of these earthquakes is soil subsidence. The Mediterranean region has witnessed many devastating earthquakes, including one on the island of Crete in 365 that caused a horrifying tsunami that swept through Alexandria and the Nile Delta, killing thousands and wiping out Alexandria. Below is Lake Mariut, where Alexander the Great directed the construction of Dinorat, a Greek-style architectural complex. The design of the port of Alexandria was located in a barren area to the west of the Nile Delta. Engineers had to establish an intelligent and complex system to channel water from the Nile through canals. The water was then distributed through a system of underground reservoirs. The old pipeline system still exists, and the new city was built on top of the old one, which is one of the reasons for the subsidence of ancient Alexandria. The city was built on limestone mountain ranges along the coast, covered by a layer of clay, and finally a layer of Nile silt that accumulated over the years. However, this terrain is more susceptible to subsidence. In addition, climate change has caused sea levels to rise, putting Alexandria, Egypt's second-largest city, in danger. According to UNESCO, Alexandria needs to be prepared to face a tsunami in 2030. Statistical data shows that the probability of a tsunami over 1 meter high occurring in the Mediterranean Sea in the next 3 years is almost 100%. The gem on the Mediterranean coast has survived earthquakes, tsunamis, and wars that have destroyed the world's ancient lighthouse and library. If Alexandria sinks again, it will be truly sad, especially when we modern civilized people have contributed not a little to that tragedy. It seems that humans cannot learn much from history. Nevertheless, you can still go to Egypt now and dive into the Mediterranean Sea to admire Cleopatra's golden palace of yesteryear. So let's go. Thank you for watching the video. Please click the subscribe button to watch the next episode about the secrets of the chamber and the nature of Queen Cleopatra.